From the heart of Moonshine Country comes a podcast so irreverent it'll make your grouchy grandma blush. The Overland Bonfire from Blue Ridge Overland Gear. Podcast about vehicle camping, overland gear, and long tangents about food. I'm hungry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blue Ridge Bonfire. I'm CT.
I'm Rick.
I'm Matt.
And today the topic is Facebook wants your kids to bleed out. So who wants to explain
that is full clickbait.
Yeah,
is that full clickbait?
Not that they want their bug bites to be itchy. They want their sunburns to be sunburny.
If somebody's arm usually bends one way and all of a sudden it's bending the way it's not supposed to bend, they don't want you to fix it.
Or S arms, which in my personal experience is one of the few entries I've seen with like when arms do this.
Oh, there's new joints in there now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Roller skating rink?
No, car accident came up on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, "I'm fine."
What are you drunk on? Can I get some?
If you are, I'm definitely about to be not fine. Yeah. So what we're really talking about is, as you all know, we make several, I almost said Facebook focused, first aid focused products. We don't make any Facebook focused products.
Thank the Lord.
But we are not allowed to advertise a good chunk of those on social media.
Yeah.
Down to the patch.
Yeah,
like you can't have a patch that says first aid on it.
Yeah, the little ID panel, little guy.
First aid.
Yeah, this does not meet our standards. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, it said it's
really high standards.
They categorized it under blood and gore.
Yeah.
And something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
don't know, like, really? It's just a panel. It's just a ID patch that says first aid on it. And that's all that it is.
And let me just clarify I doubt anyone's listening to this that hasn't looked at our pages, but we're not showing
anything.
Yeah, gore. The product pages have pictures of red bags and clear front vinyl pouches. I don't even think we actually show any actual first aid items.
Supplies, huh?
Yeah, no. So yeah, we want to talk about that and maybe some other things in terms of social
Internet
media
censorship.
Yeah, censorship and all.
Oh
that.
my God, we're not doing that. We can't go there.
Yeah.
My views might not be good for this podcast. I'm just saying.
Well, no. I mean, A,
I
say A, have at
high
it.
level then,
and B, I'm always impressed.
Rick's like, burn the ships. It doesn't.
Yeah.
CT's like, no, be careful.
Road flag. But an account that I follow that I really love, and I know they got nuked or zooked or zucked or whatever you want to call it for a while, is North American Rescue on Instagram. Yeah. They share some just banana stuff, and I'm sure they've got tons of professionals that are kind of sending that stuff to them. But they got taken down, totally lost access to their account for a while, and the account wasn't visible. But they got it back. So it's always mind-boggling me, and I'm not by any means blaming North American Rescue, but how more or less they get away with that. But then you can't tag a first aid kit in a post on Facebook that links back to our store. You know what? I'm feeling spicy, Matt. I'm still running a little on low sleep here. What are your views?
My views on what? We got to clarify. On social
media censorship, or the even not even just censorship, but just the big brotherness that is.
I'm
quickly become a thing.
I am probably as anti-government as anybody. I personally believe that they're all questionable.
Yeah.
all suspect.
That's why Matt and I get along.
As far as that goes, it boggles my mind that the social media platforms in general, things like that there's just no it just defies logic, right? It doesn't even make sense. We're not doing anything that would be outside of, it's just so far.
We're so benign. Yeah.
Right. So benign is a good word. I mean, it's just, we're not deep in the holler on this. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not trying to push any limits.
No. This is like pure biscuits and gravy kind of stuff. This isn't it just boggles my mind that's the direction that they're going with how they make decisions. Right. That's the thing that bothers me. And I mean, it's interesting. I'll be curious as to how it works out for, like Rodney,
Yeah.
who we've done some first aid kit stuff with, and Rodney's put together like a really slick first aid kit, based on a pouch that we based on an EDC pouch that we make with a couple small modifications. As a matter of fact, we developed a few pieces for that pouch because of Rodney.
It's kind of it would be like our extra small, right? And, if you fit it into our system, it's a bit smaller than the headrest first aid kit.
Yeah. It's throw in a backpack and take hiking or put on a belt or whatever. But it's really well done, and it's really smartly thought out. I mean, Rodney obviously has a bazillion years of experience dealing with the real blood and guts of the world.
Yeah.
And it's like broken stuff up into packs and done some really neat stuff. My fear obviously is that if there's anything that alludes to that selling, there's just the benefit to the people that would see that and the information he provides.
Yeah.
Is really good. And
then
we're gonna
social media is the place to like tell people why it's good and show quickly like how it all works together and build that reach your people but that's like the place where you get shut down the most.
Right.
And I'm a late 80s baby, so child of the 90s. And, I remember like Faces of Death, that website. Anybody? Like any comments, let me know. I mean, it was just like a website where these like wild videos would get posted before like videos on the internet was a thing. I mean, like, want to see a guy get sucked through a jet engine? There you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and but it's like,
if I didn't think you were on a list before now, I definitely think you are now.
Oh, listen, if Faces of Death got you on a list, I know a lot of middle schoolers that were on a list.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I'm not saying it was healthy. I'm just saying it was out there. That's not necessarily like the kind of things that you see that get popped now, and that's what blows my mind.
We had another video that was on YouTube that was killed. It's 3 years old, and it was killed for community guideline issues. And like, if you read the community guideline, and we appealed it, and they of course said, "F you, you suck."
Thanks, no
but
thanks.
if you read the community guidelines, like it is 100% accurate within their guide. Like it's 100% in compliance. Like you can't interpret it as not within the guidelines. Like you would really have to work at it. And I don't even know how you would interpret it not in the guidelines, but it's been killed. There's just so much.
And again, they rejected the appeal. And my whole thing is with all that is like they do not empower the person, their underpaid employee who has to look at 10,000 of these.
Let's stop. Probably overpaid employee.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, let's
knowing a few people that have worked for the Big G and the FB. Yeah.
I've watched sort of an expose video on the sort of the places where they outsource the like Facebook, like just watch it and moderate stuff, and it's pretty rough.
Oh,
the conditions. But anyway,
maybe that's why they're just bitter. They should just pay them more. They wouldn't be out to get us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait, real quick though, you said something about 3 years old. Yeah. I have a friend that is a knife maker that lost his Instagram account, no appeals, nothing, from a picture. He's an avid hunter, fisherman. A picture that he had with a buck that was from like 6 years before, and they killed the whole account, never to be seen again. Had to start back from scratch. And it was like because he more or less took his personal account, made it his knife making account. Just naturally getting into the hobby. And yeah, back, I guess it was last year, it was just like, oh, this post, and it was like, what? Like, first off, it's been up there for 6 years. It's like Instagram doesn't know how Instagram works.
Nobody's ever going to see that.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to see that again.
Yeah,
like,
they don't
this
see a
is
post
not
for
evergreen.
6 days. 6 days. Forget 6 years. So.
Yeah.
And Essie lost their account.
And finally managed to get that back. I mean, but God, it was like 6 months, 8 months. Yeah.
Man, but that's the same thing. They're not. I mean, I wouldn't consider them doing anything weird.
No. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing.
They just make knives. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and Shane and I have talked about this. I mean, and it was an absolute battle. I mean, I think Shane, feel free to like text me and be like, nah, but I think he kind of given up because they were already kind of diversifying their content across some other platforms, and then lo and behold, I think it was like 6 months later, boom, got it back.
You're reinstated now.
Yeah.
My experience with like interacting with the content moderator people is like they are like they have no like wiggle room. They have been given no like actual authority to like, and they've not been told, oh, here's the guidelines and use good judgment. No, it's like, here's the guidelines and like if you deviate at all, well, there's somebody coming checking behind you, and you're gonna get canned.
Here's here's the guidelines and use bad judgment is what it really looks like.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it goes back to our gore. Like no, I'm sorry. That first aid bag is actually solution dyed red. We didn't bathe it in the blood before posting that photo. Like, yeah. So.
No, it is mind-boggling. All that's mind-boggling. But no, is there ever a platform that's going to show up that is, I mean, I hate to use the word middle ground, but like, like all the stuff that is sort of free speech, or, or you have some leadway on there, is sort of deemed the far right kind of extreme crazy, right? And therefore you just don't get the number of people on it is smaller because all right, so I'm not trying to be far right crazy. That's not really my goal. I mean, or at least I don't want anybody to know that. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But at the same time, like I said, when the world you're banning first aid tags from being seen, like that's crazy, right? Like that makes no sense. So it's like, okay, so Instagram comes up with a new, or whoever, Facebook, Meta, whatever the hell we call them today. The
Zuckerverse is one I saw that I'm leaning into.
Yeah, Zuckerverse. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's the new thing?
Oh, Threads.
Threads, right. Well, I mean, that's going to be a shit show, right? I mean, like, I know that people are all excited about it because there's a big...
It's plural. I have to check that like once a day.
Yeah. So there, there's obviously there's a land grab going on, right? Where people are like, oh, something new, we need to get a footprint on it. Us too. We do that with most new platforms, is at least get our name,
on there,
grab our name so nobody else can grab it if nothing else. So we don't have
to buy Blue Ridge Overland gear from John Bob.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, like the likelihood of that leading itself down a path that makes no sense, or is questionable that's just going to happen.
You got to wonder because like Twitter is sort of seen as this fairly open forum. Obviously there's like a little bit
if
more,
you want to take down a government, it's okay. You're allowed to do that, but then but if our government is allowed to take the people down on it. I mean, obviously, hopefully that's all changing. But I mean, if you want Egypt to overthrow their government, Twitter's your tool.
Right.
If you want to control the population, Twitter's our government's tool.
Yeah. If you want U.S. citizens to show any dissent at all, no. We're going to cancel you on Twitter.
My least favorite part, though, about Twitter and Threads so far, on Instagram, it's pretty easy by just glancing at the photo if it's going to be just a waste of your time. You got to get a few words in. Like, you got to read at least a few words of ignorance, I can see the photo or the reel and be like, nope.
Right, yeah, I'm done.
With the thread or with the tweet, I'm like, no.
Yeah, like, what was I thinking?
My wasted time.
The other thing that's crazy is, like, I'm on there, I've spent not enough time. I made maybe 2 posts just personally messing around with it. And you've got, like... maybe I follow 30, 35 people, and a chunk of those are reasonably active, appear to be reasonably active on there, except none of those are in my newsfeed.
Yeah, they got to get that nailed down.
Everything I get is like, I get CNN and I get Fox News and I get all these different things. So, like, I'm in a constant state of every time I get on there blocking something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not why I'm here. This is not why I'm here. This is not why I'm here. No, I'm not looking for your political statement. No, I'm not looking for you,
Yeah.
Continue to work my way down through that. Working my way down through that stuff, to where I can find the truth about cocaine in the White House or what. No.
The fact that anyone was surprised
of that story. So
if anyone was surprised there was cocaine in the White House.
Right. Yeah.
Don't know if they can be helped at this point.
This is a Tuesday.
So I'm curious, like, okay, fast forward, after like Threads had a little time to mature and get some of the wiggles out and whatever, like, is Twitter going to be the place that has more censorship, or is Threads going to be the place with more censorship? And how?
Well, I mean, at this point, we're pretty sure Twitter is not the place that's going to have more censorship.
Yeah.
I mean, they appear to be headed in a direction. The problem is, I just
say something bad about Elon. Well, he'll can you in a hot second.
Well, good work. I mean, he owns it. What the hell?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where with Threads, you're right. They gotta have a feed that's not so
polluted with crap,
irregular, because like right now the Blue Ridge feed, we don't have service here in the studio, but it was like Bring a Trailer, Go Rumple, and somebody we do follow. But then this morning it was like 18 in a row of just like, what? Who are these people? You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And the Blue Ridge feed's following about the same amount of people that I'm following on my personal, but my personal has been the only suggested ones. Like I can't find the people I follow.
Yeah. No,
So,
100%. And the problem is I don't hate. I like Twitter's just never been my thing. I've never understood
I
it.
used to have it for work and literally was like ecstatic the day I deleted it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah.
It's something I've never had.
It's
'cause I
definitely
just-
like a little echo chamber of like
Yeah.
people.
Oh, well, all
But
of them
if you
are,
can,
right?
yeah,
All
Well,
but
that's
stuff is-
social media.
if you can, I feel like the general like what's trending on Twitter is just like weird stuff I'm not interested in, and you can find like semi-public figures. Like it's neat to be able to like, oh, if you follow a YouTuber, they're like, oh, here's my Twitter handle if you want to like reach out directly and that kind of stuff. And that's so for those like obviously the real public figures don't actually like they have somebody managing that for them, but the small public figures like that's kind of cool, but it's not like I don't know.
I
don't
just use tax
I-
information to find their home address. So
Yeah, I mean that's the easiest way.
yeah. So what? But yeah, no.
list,
Social
a
media. I
list.
mean, it's like a necessary evil. You know. I
Oh,
feel like
geez, for us, it's a
yeah.
It's a
I mean,
lifeline.
It's
yeah.
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 I mean, it's the easiest. It's obviously the most economic. Well, I don't know that it's actually the most economical because we devote a lot of time and manpower to it.
Yeah.
A lot. Where, if you devoted that time and manpower to non-social media efforts, what would the outcome be?
Yeah,
But
who knows,
we've committed to the violence on that, and
Yeah.
we're gonna
And it's a self-feeding system. I mean, they reward, like Instagram, for example, the current thinking is on a reel when you get a comment in the first like hour or something like that, or 90 minutes, they want you to respond back almost immediately, that way they continue to push that reel out to people. And you were talking about like the echo chamber and it just serving you things you like. I mean, they want you to stay on the platform.
Right.
The
they're
longer
gonna
you
do that.
stay on the platform, the more ads you see.
understanding the
Right.
goal of the platform
Yeah.
is important.
It is.
Yeah, remember, folks, if the product is free, you are.
It's like-
You are the product.
Yeah.
But no first aid tags.
But no.
Stupid
Yes.
bitches.
Yeah.
No first
Which
aid bag.
I was gonna say, that all that being said, always a good time for us to have our little echo chamber, like seek out training, reputable sources. We've mentioned a few already, like Essie.
I mean
Rodney.
that's the reason we don't do. I mean that's the reason we don't do first aid supplies in a kit,
Yeah.
in a kit bag, and we've talked
There's
about
so
this
many
a
good
number-
experts that are up
Well,
on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's not even for me. It's not even what our experience level is, right? Because we've got varying levels of experience at the shop. We've most of us have had some kind of first aid class at a minimum. Most of us have had CPR. A lot of us have had stop the bleed. Have you had a woofer? Or have you?
No, I never went full. Even when I was at Ridgecrest, we just had like a first aid intensive.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah. So I mean, like whatever. We
Yeah.
again, we have a lot of.
I've done first aid. Yeah.
Yeah,
And parts
well,
of stop the bleed.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody here's been through a lot of classes, that even non-certifying classes and stuff. But the reality is that kidding to I'll talk about it. Mentioned it before. My wife used to be an EMT way back in the day. Her skill level is substantially better than mine, and she's just way smarter and stays way more up to date than I do. At that point, like what she carries and can use is completely different than what I carry and can use. There's no, you have to kit to your skill, right?
Yeah.
Because you can get out of your depth pretty quick, or you have a bunch of crap that you've never opened up,
Yeah.
you've never looked at, you've never thought about,
And
you
then-
just bought a box and then
Yeah.
didn't do anything with it. I will say the one thing that I do appreciate again about kind of Rodney's stuff is it's very, very, it's thought out. It's like he has a like an intestinal, pooping too much, not pooping enough. There's
yeah.
like a pack that's set up for that. There
Yeah.
is a discomfort. There is a bee sting and itching. There is
Yeah.
a whatever. But it's like everything is kind of developed around. Okay,
Situations and
here's your
stuff.
problem. Here are the 3 things that you can take over the counter that will fix this. Here are the 3 things you can take over the counter for this. Here are the whatever, and they're all kind of packaged in that, along with some other good pieces of kit. And he's buying, most of his stuff is North American Rescue is
Yeah.
where he gets almost everything from. So he's buying actual, like, for the most part, US made
Yeah.
product, and
Especially when you're looking, at things like
it's not a Walmart kit, I guess, is my. And
no,
so
for
many
sure.
people just go to Walmart and get junk.
the Johnson & Johnson that has 175 Band-Aids in a
Yeah, 3 pieces of gauze.
Yeah, and a 200
roll,
piece kit. Yeah.
and a roll of tape.
That's good
Yeah.
for a lot of little nicks and scratches.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
so much if they're bleeding out.
Well, I mean, not the problems you're afraid to run into.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Exactly.
that's the thing.
There's a
It's like,
difference between life threatening and uncomfortable. Yeah.
right. It's like with we go to rifle matches and there's medics. There's whatever. There's a lot of medics at rifle matches that happen to shoot them. Usually military guys that were, or medics or corpsmen or whatever. And you look at what those guys carry. Like nobody ever has a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
right? Like nobody's got.
Let's
like
just say suck it up for that.
Well, no, I mean, like, if you want a Band-Aid or something miscellaneous like that, like my daughter will have that. I can guarantee it. Like she will have
Yeah.
that stuff in her bag because that's the skill set she understands. Those guys are kitted for crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there's
Yeah.
a crisis, that's who I want,
Mhm.
right? But at the same time, it's like, you've cut yourself and you're bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Move on. Drink some water and change your socks, and let's
Yeah,
get
yeah.
on with this.
No, and you're right about it, like with your level. I've done a couple of like ditch medicine classes and
Yep.
things like that, and again, like doing a whiffer, I would love to, but for me, it's
For the uninitiated, what does WIFR mean or stand for?
oh, wilderness first responder. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, tourniquets, which I say everybody get a tourniquet class. Hopefully, you'll never need it, but it's really not that difficult. But it's really easy to panic. So
It's like a day of training, maybe.
yeah, go to one where they push you, and like if you don't have to fight the guy off that you're putting the tourniquet on during the class.
You didn't do it right.
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah,
go to the right
yeah,
class.
yeah.
The stop the bleed classes are really good too,
Yeah.
and they're not necessarily quite that
Aggressive. Yeah.
quite that aggressive. But at the same time,
Yeah.
that stop the bleed program is really.
But
My kids have both been through
Israeli
that.
bandages, those chest seals. I can do a nasal airway. I hope you're mostly out of it when I do it because you're not going to like it, but I can do it.
If you live around Virginia, check out Fury Training Concepts.
Yep.
He does.
Yeah,
does
if
good
John's
work
doing
over
some
there.
stuff,
Yeah.
John's does really good work, and he offers a woofer class, and I
Yeah.
think Rodney was talking about doing some of that
Yeah.
in the South.
Yeah, that'll be coming in 2024. Rodney's calendar. I think we've alluded to this before, but man, he was like, Rick, we'll do a class up there at the shop. And I was like, cool, when? He's like, April. And I was like, oh, no, man, that just passed. Come on, it's May. He meant the next time.
The next one coming, yeah, that's
Dang.
yeah. You're gonna need to tell us about that in March because
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna forget 10
Yeah,
times
yeah.
between now and then. Although we're remembering now, so maybe his
Yeah.
strategy was good.
Ping
It's-
me at New Year's, then we'll nail it down in late February, and then we'll be good for April.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our schedule does not run that far ahead.
Yeah.
I can barely think past what's today, Wednesday. I can barely think past Thursday.
Oh, I've been way off. Like I literally driving home yesterday. It was like, all right, Monday night, what's open? Brandy's like, it's Tuesday. It's like, well,
wow.
right, yeah. No, mine was more of a question for next week. Yeah,
I'm thinking ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd kind of bringing it back to our original topic a little bit. We
Clickbait?
oh yeah, clickbait. Well, I was thinking about it. Like the two biggest online ad platforms are Google Ads, and which encompasses YouTube and Facebook, and then there's everybody else. I'm pretty sure Google is the bigger of those two, as far as ad platforms go. And it's like as far as Google goes, like as far as I know, they are pretty permissible as far as what they'll let you put ad spend to.
I'm just saying in a very unscientific way, the things I've Googled, I've got some Google ads about that I'm assuming they're a little faster and looser than than the metaverse is.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just interesting that like as you
Here,
know
let's check. Human kidneys.
For sale.
Well, I was going to see if they would like make that jump themselves. Time out on the field. Personal point. If you do buy a tourniquet, buy a really good one. Rodney, North American.
Yeah.
I know SWAT tourniquets aren't as well received as, or not as well.
well known.
Well, no, I don't know. Maybe not well received, but they have their place. Like dogs, kids. You can use SWATs for other things, and then soft tees, similar to the cat tourniquet from North American. Very similar.
Maybe really similar.
Yeah. That was the Recon Medical one. That was
Oh, that's the one that was.
that was the one that
So
Where the
similar.
lawyers got involved.
No, it was actually the verbiage they printed on it that got him in trouble.
Oh.
And I don't know him well, but I know him well enough that I was in the room when one of the guys that like gets those kind of things approved was like, they just didn't have the money to get in the test really quickly so that they would be like on the list of approved equipment. And that's one of the reasons it kind of went south for them. And then they got pinged for the verbiage that's printed on the tourniquet, not the actual design. I've still got some Recon Medicals, a couple of softies, mostly cats. I keep a few SWATs around. And then if you want to get real geeky with this stuff, an interesting tourniquet that's been on the market recently is Snake Staff Systems. It's like an EDC size tourniquet.
Nice.
You've seen it, that small one. It fits in the bottom of the bum bag.
Oh yeah.
And
I
it's
have seen that. Yeah.
It's essentially my mini cat. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's just
if a cat and it's side by side, but it's a lot easier to carry that every day. So,
yeah.
like an ankle rig. They even have like a waistband holster. So
Wow, they have all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, no, I keep a SWAT in the truck and a cat in the truck,
I like the SWAT
and they have cats a few places.
for the same reason I like the C-splints, because the instructions are printed on it.
Yeah.
Like I like some of my first aid stuff to be for.
And I have a rat too.
Oh yeah,
A
yeah.
rat. I have a rat in the truck.
Yeah.
And it works good for tie downs too.
Yep.
If you were in an
Yeah.
emergency
I
situation, you
don't
need to tie
own a
something.
tourniquet, so I'm probably hooped. I should
You
probably
really
get
should.
with you, and you should
Yeah.
get that taken care of.
Going back to when shit goes sideways, and someday it will. Don't come to my house because
Yeah.
you're not ready enough to come to my house. What was I was reading something?
I can't join your.
I was
your
reading
group
something.
in the
Somebody posted
apocalypse.
like, "Hey, we can be friends, but I have a list based on your skill set,
Mhm.
and I have an A, B, C, T, and A, B, and C team, and a do not let in."
Yeah. Yeah.
like, don't think you're showing up
Oh no. So
without making one of those
with your
lists.
your gear and your skill set.
at my
Yeah.
old job, all the time, people would be like, "Man, when things go sideways, I'm coming to your house," and I would be like, "Be sure to bring things you think will be handy. That way, when I drop you in the yard, it'll be worth it." Like, yeah, bring some beans, yeah, coffee. Throw a bag of coffee.
If you have any,
Yeah.
water filters, yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, guys,
there's some
I hope
options.
you enjoyed this little chat about the wild and woolly world of social media and first aid. Remember,
I'm not sure any of this is about first aid. I just want to.
yeah,
don't believe everything you read on the internet, and
Abraham Lincoln
stay
said that.
skeptical out there. All right?
Stay skeptical. They're all lies.
Follow the money. It speaks much louder than what any PR department ever says.
You ain't wrong
Let's
there.
be honest, okay? Bye.
You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Blue Ridge Bonfire. Shop our gear at BlueRidgeOverlandGear.com. Our sissies are as welcome as a nail in the tire. Get equipped, get organized. I'll see you there.